think, T? It's starting to warm up a little. Yeah. You got a bikini for sale? I'll come down and get that and lay out. Did you know the horizon is always at your eye level, no matter how high you go? In an airplane or in Mount Everest, it's always at your eye level. It never goes down. But on a globe, it has to go down. And it never does. We have a curvature formula. And here's Chicago, 60 miles across Lake Michigan. That should be hidden under like a 240-story building, and it's not. Here's 10 things on here that you can talk to your friends about. Dinner conversation, make you really think about it. But we have all the bases covered pretty much. Anything that can be explained is.
Okay, thank you.
Have a great day. Let me see, do I have any more? Interesting, she says. Okay, but you know, you can tell if they're not gonna stay and talk, then they're not really gonna think. So that's okay. You give them something to take along. And it'll end up somewhere, who knows. God is on. Oops, sorry, my hair's in the way. God is in control. Just go to the people who are supposed to see it. Something's wrong here. So, let me see. Let me just tell you about this gravity thing again. Because relative density, it's very clever, but don't let these words fool you. Don't let them spellbind you. Do not be bound by a word that's going to intimidate you. One thing I have figured out is people are not stupid so much. There are some people who have no interest in doing things, but somebody who has an interest in, let's say, physics, You know, all you really have to do is learn the buzzwords. Buzzwords are those words that are pertinent to that discipline, that are pertinent to that subject. So, if you have a subject that you're studying, if you learn all of the words connected with that subject, you will sound very intelligent. But you could be just babbling and not even be saying anything. And you know what? That's exactly what I got from that video with Sleeping Warrior and Jeranism. There was a whole lot of babbling going on. And you know what? That annoys me. Because that's deception. And I don't like that. Now, could that be deliberate, willful deception? Or is it just somebody not knowing what they're talking about? So what is that? Well, don't like people that bloviate. Don't like people that just talk about nothing. You know, and they try to impress you with saying the same thing 10 different ways. I mean, either you understand a concept or you don't. And Sleeping Warrior knows, he absolutely knows, I am the only one that teaches an alternative to gravity. And I'm telling you now, nobody has spoken to me about this. Nobody has spoken to me about my views on gravity. Of course, I teach it, so it's very clear what I'm teaching. But nobody has come out, you know, from the Flat Earth community and like totally disagreed with me or told me I'm wrong because of this or because of that. Nobody's done that. And I've been teaching diamagnetism for a long time now. When did I get these banners? It's on my banners. So I got these banners last year. I could find out, but it had to have been before I made the banners up that I was onto that. And I'm not the only one who's onto the diamagnetism, because there's other videos out there about it. But the levitation and yeah, did I have the camera on? I'm not sure if I had the camera on when I was talking to that girl about bumblebees. You know, bumblebees, do you ever hear them come up close to you? They really have a sound. They put out a loud hum. So bumblebees are being levitated by their wings, and that is how they're able to fly, with those tiny little wings and the big bodies. So they are being levitated, and the wings just create the sound and give a little propulsion, and they give direction. So yeah, that's how bumblebees fly. And even I was part of Mary Kay Cosmetics, and that was their symbol, was the bumblebee. And they said aerodynamically, the bumblebee should not be able to fly. And yeah, that's absolutely true. But they didn't teach us the real reason that the bumblebee could fly. They just said, well, the bumblebee doesn't know that, and it just does it anyway. Well, that's a good motivation for people who don't think they can sell cosmetics, but it doesn't teach us truth, does it? Not in the truth that the factual things of it. They wanted the truth that you can do things that you don't think you can do. That's true. So Mary Kay wasn't lying about anything. They just didn't tell us the whole story. Now, do they even know? I don't even know if Mary Kay Cosmetics knows the story behind the bumblebee. There's a lot of people who don't know a lot of things. So I'm not going to down them for it. But I just thought it was interesting that that was their symbol, one of the teaching tools that they use. So let me tell you guys, you can go out and teach this. You can teach this. This is easy to do. You just have to love humanity. So I can get you over all those humps and problems that you're having, why you're shy. I can get you all over those things. I can help you with your... oh, here come the girls from way down there. See them? They were holding out the signs. I wonder if I can see that way down there. Yeah, so I will talk to you. Last year I was talking to Karen from Florida, and now look at her. She's really confident. So if you're really sincere about doing this, I'm not going to allow you to take up my time if I don't think you're sincere. If you want to do this, you gotta really follow what I'm telling you to do and prove that you are sincere. But I will be there and help you every step of the way. If you're not growing, you're not true. If you are not growing, you are not sincere. How'd you do, girls?
We don't know.
We saw a couple people come in. Thanks for doing that. Good job. Send that guy down there. So, yeah. So all you need is the buzzwords. And that gravity thing, I'm real disappointed in that. I'm disappointed. I don't know why that happened. Look up the Galileo thermometer. I found a nice little 4-minute video. A physics student described what it was. Hey, how are you? Did you ever hear of this before? The horizon's always at your eye level, no matter how high you go. And Mount Everest or on an airplane, it's always up here. So if it's up here, then where's the curve down away from you? There is no curve to the earth. There's 60 miles across Lake Michigan, we see Chicago. And according to the formula, it should be hidden. If it's really a ball, Chicago should be down below the curve, and it's not. We zoomed in on it with a high-powered camera. It's right there, eye level. So they're not telling us the truth. They're not telling us the truth. There's 10 things on here that you can talk about and discuss because you got young kids. You want them to know the truth. You don't want them to be enslaved by a government that lies to us. You don't want that young man going off into a war for lies. And that's what they're doing. They're making up lies, sending our kids off to get killed and kill other people. Why are we doing that? So you can take that along and you can think about it, but if you have questions, contact the website on there. There's a place for comments. I'm on that website.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You too. Come on,
Go that way. Go that way.
Come walk right here. You don't have to stay on the sidewalk.
Aw. Now look at that guy. He's reading it. He is reading it. Woohoo! Awesome. Yeah. I think there's a couple people that have been in our Flat Earth community that are not sincere. I'm going to reserve total judgment and decide based on what they're going to do. They can respond to what I'm saying. They can come out with a retraction. There's lots of things they can do when they see the error of their ways. But to say that relative density is equivalent to a force, no, there's no force involved. Not with relative density. That's a property within a force. Relative density does not define down. So what is the force then? Can't be gravity because there's no curve. So what is it? They don't want to address that. They don't want to address it. And Flat Earth British and all those other mud flood channels, Phil Drusenin, Barnabas Nagy, they're all looking at this UAP, and they're all looking at these buildings with the energy collectors. So aren't they? Aren't the celebrity channels? Aren't they thinking something about it? The force is something to do with the electromagnetic field? I mean, aren't they thinking, or are they just not wanting us to even go there? You know, the people who are sucked into those big channels, think again. You can buy subs, but you can't buy views. Right? Can't buy views, can you? I don't know. Don't know anything about it, but I would think that views are different than subs. So why don't you look at the views? A lot of times I'm getting as many views as the celebrity channels. So now YouTube will change that, and they will allow more views to be bought, probably, because they're all in on this. So we just have to be really discerning. Be very careful what you're doing, so you don't get sucked in. So yeah, this is Schwenksville, and we are up on the. See, if you look that way. This is like the highest point in town, in the little town, and then it goes. Everything's downhill from here. Like we're at the top. Let me show you this. So yeah, it does go up a little bit further up that way. But yeah, we're at this, behind us there's just like a woods and a park down below. But if you follow that down there, you'll go down to the main road, and right below that there's like a waterway, and there was canals connected with that waterway. And there's still the remnants of the canals, and there was mills on the canals, because there's mill races, and those mill races, there's a historic Pennypacker mansion is there. Took a tour of that like a couple months ago. Hi there. You interested in science at all? Wow. Wow, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want me to hold that for you? Do you hold it? Do you want me to hold Bernie? Thank you.
Kids are cute. So, yeah, right down at the bottom of the hill, there's a little restaurant called Snooki's Cafe, and I've met some flat earthers in there, flat earth people. Black family, and the woman, you know, black people are funny because they're very expressive. She says, "Oh, the flat earth, you know," and "Oh, yeah, yeah, we are too," and "Oh, yeah, yeah." And that was really nice. They're very, like, energetic and loving. I think that's a good word. So, I enjoy it. Enjoy talking to them. And so then over here, you can see the mountain ridge right there. Well, mountain, more like a huge hill. But that goes up there. And there's a road that goes back that way. But the road, this main road goes to the left, like where that little red barn is there. And it goes back that way. And then, what's up that way? Just some local little towns and whatnot. But yeah, the Pennypacker Mansion is a big thing. Oh, and they also have the Perkiomen Conservancy. And that's the same group that we went and did the stream cleanup, the watershed cleanup, where I took my trailer and we got all that trash and cleaned it up. And I got to talk to the kids that were cleaning up. And that was pretty good. And I want to get a kayak. I really want to get a kayak. And I just don't want to put out the $200. So I'm looking for a used kayak. Because I want to get on the water. I do love the water. I've always been a water person. Like swim team, always wanted, Mom said when I was real little, we'd go down to the swimming pool. And it was like a community swimming pool. And it was huge. It was like the size of 2 Olympic pools. And we, they even had another separate pool from when you were on swim team. But, yeah, I would be playing in the water. I love the water so much that she said I pushed some other kid in, say, come play with me, come play with me. And the kid says, oh, she pushed me in and cried and everything. I didn't push her in. I just helped her to come in the water. I helped her in the water. I was fearless, I guess, even as a little kid. So, you know, somebody else did a thing where let this lady go past. Look at them. Can I give you something to take home and think about?
Yeah.
Good table conversation. Hi, Buffy. Oh, stop it now. Have a good day. So, this guy was talking about horses. The most important thing that you can do to learn how to teach a horse dressage and do dressage riding. And he talked about it, and there's some book. And the outcome of the book was that you have to find somebody that you really respect and just study them. Watch the videos of them and study their posture, their hands, their seat, their feet, the whole thing. And that's how you really learn to become a good rider and do the best. So I'm there, okay. So how did I learn how to ride horses? Well, I had no money, and my parents, even though we have a nice house and whatnot, they just, you know, knew how to save money, and they provided for us kids, but they didn't want any kind of extra stuff going on. They would not pay for riding lessons for me. They would not, you know, be involved. It was all about, my mom was all about her family, and my dad was all about his dogs. He raised championship conformation show beagles, and he was successful at that, but he was kind of distant for us kids. You know, we would have family dinners together, so that's good. But we didn't, I don't remember having any like real conversations, deep, meaningful conversations with my dad. So, so I had to do what I wanted to do. I had to go do on my own. So there was a farm near us, a guy who owned Markle's farm. E.M. Markle. He owned Pioneers and Plastics in Norristown. So he was a wealthy man. He got in right on the ground level of the plastic generation, the plastic revolution. And so he had a farm. And from church, I could look down and see the herd of Welsh ponies he had in the field down there. And I just dreamed, ever since I was real little, dreamed of being near those horses. And I would just sneak out of church every time I could and go down there and pet those smelly ponies, and I just learned to love it. I just loved it. So when I was old enough to ride my bike, I rode my bike down there and just stood there and watched and watched. And they finally said, "Oh, you want to brush the ponies?" I'm there, yeah. And I would work and brush those ponies, and I did such a good job. Oh, well, I guess you can ride now if you want. You know, you did so much work. So I got to ride, and I just worked there for free. And every time they gave a lesson, I would watch and watch and watch. And I learned so much. And I taught myself to ride, because when I had the opportunity to ride, then I would put into practice what I learned from watching lessons. So I never took a lesson, but I did pretty good, I think. I think I did pretty good. Later on, I was hired to ride for some other woman. I rode 2 other people's horses for them. So not that I was really great, but it was good enough that they trusted me to ride for them. So yeah, you can teach yourself. You can teach yourself a lot of things. So just keep watching my videos and watch what I do and put that into your own words, and that will be your thing, okay? Your thing is doing what I'm doing your way. If you want to say it in a different way, you want to add something or subtract something from what I'm doing, then that's your way. But sitting home on a keyboard is not any sort of way. You got to get out and you got to hit the streets. There's a customer coming. How you doing?
Fine, you?
I'm just going to tell you something that you didn't know before.
Okay.
Did you know that the horizon is always at your eye level?
No.
No matter how high you go. In an airplane or Mount Everest, it's always at your eye level.
Oh my gosh.
So you know what that means? That means that it's perspective and the vanishing point. That determines the horizon. Now, you know those railroad tracks continue, but you can't see it.
Right.
So it vanishes.
Right.
Now, when it's just the sky and the ocean, it's more like a line and not a point.
Yes, you're right.
So when the ships go over the curve, they're not. They're going into the vanishing point.
Okay.
But they always tell us it's over the curve.
Right. Because the Earth is round. It's not flat.
That's what they keep telling us, isn't it?
Right.
Well, guess what? It's not round.
No.
We don't find any curvature anywhere. Because look at this. This is Chicago. You see it there?
Yep.
That's 60 miles of Lake Michigan.
Yep.
That should be hidden under 2,400 feet of curvature. It should be down over the curve, 24. That's like a 240-story building. But there it is, right there.
Right.
So we have these high-powered cameras that zoom in. There's no curvature. That's the lie that we're being told. to keep us spinning around in circles on this ball.
Okay.
Yeah, so do you have like somebody you can discuss this with over dinner or whatnot? There's 10 things on here that'll make you think.
I'll take this and
And look into that.
Okay,
See,
thank you.
That's the map. North Pole's in the center. Antarctica goes around the outside edge. United Nations and all these world organizations use the flat Earth map, but they leave off Antarctica. They want you to think it's this when it really goes around the outside edge.
I'll be darned. Okay.
So we're all getting smart here. Yep, we're getting smart.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So you can teach yourself. So all this talk about, oh, everybody's got to do their own thing. Really? Okay, so you can't get out on the streets because, well, you got a job and you've been threatened, just like Brian Mullen. You were threatened with loss of your job. Okay. So are you promoting activism? Are you supporting it in some way? Are you doing it? You know, flatearth101.com, Dave Gessner, he drops cards like crazy, and he's doing an awesome job. He'll go into the bathroom, he'll stick them a couple different places. Now, unlike me, he's not videotaping himself going to the bathroom. You know me, I just can't remember to shut this stupid camera off when I go to the bathroom. So I'm going to have to get better at that. Yes, I need to grow. I need to get better at that. But, and you've all been very forgiving of my absent-mindedness of the cameras on me, because it just becomes part of me. And you know, if I do that, then the things I'm saying on this video, I'm becoming more aware of it. I want to become more aware of the camera, but I'll tell you, it's just, you know, it's hard to remember it sometimes because you're so involved in what you're doing.
Bye.
Have a good day.
You too.
I wonder what the age of that building, that church is. Let me see if there's a plaque on it. Oh, 1958. Now that must be the addition. Because I know this church is older than 1958, because I went upstairs and looked at it. When I was here, I was at the, they used to have the food pantry here, and the church I was going to at the time, we did our mission with the food pantry. Aha, here we go. 1887. Y'all see that, 1887? So this church... Oh, I see the window. Let me get this window here. There it is. There's the window. And look at that. Oh, sorry. I'll get behind there. Yeah. It's beautiful inside. I don't know if I should take you in or not, but it's beautiful inside. The woodwork is just outstanding. It's just gorgeous. Now that church up there at the end of the street, outside it's beautiful, but inside they modernized it, and they had some kind of fire, they said at one point, and so then they just really destroyed it. But this one is still intact inside. So well, I don't know if I should interrupt that conversation there.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, Chris said Natalie was at Under Armour, which is cool.
Did she get the jacket? I don't think she, well, she didn't have it.
No, I thought Chris said she got it.
Oh, did she?
Remember what I said about the sound waves? You know the round windows on churches? Do you know anything about cymatics, which is the study of sound as it... oh, beautiful. If you put sand on a metal plate and have sound coming up from the bottom, it'll make a design. That's called cymatics. And these round windows depicted the sound inside the church. And that came from all the steeples having antennas on them. This is like ancient stuff, and we're looking into that. So really churches were like healing centers because they could, the sound waves, you can be healed by sound waves. And electricity and oxygen and all that stuff. So yeah, it's very cool if you start studying this stuff. It's really wild. And now what do we have now in modern days that they say is the best? We have drugs, pharmaceuticals, chemicals, right? They forgot all about the sound waves, except the smart people are going back to that. Interesting. Do you know the horizon is always at your eye level, no matter how high you go in an airplane or Mount Everest? And that means that the horizon is a function of our vision, and there's a vanishing point, but when it's the sky and the sea, there's only two planes to come together. That means it's a vanishing line. So when you see a ship going over the curve, it's not. It's going into the vanishing line. So we're always told that it's a ball. We're told that we live on a spinning ball. But there's no evidence for that. See, we see Chicago across 60 miles of Lake Michigan. So it's right there. It should be 2,400 feet below the line. But it's like a 240-story building. It should be down It's not. It's right there. We have these cameras now that we can just zoom right in on it. So we do not live on a spinning ball. That's what we're told by the govern, which means control, and ment, which means mind. Government, control the mind. And we actually live something that looks like this, where the North Pole's in the center and Antarctica goes around the outside edge. So how does a compass work on Australia going to the North Pole? Does it go through the ball? Does it go through that land and hot molten gases, they say? No, it's more like this, where the North Pole's right there and Australia goes pointing right towards it. Now circumnavigation, you just walk around the North Pole because it always points north, right? The compass always points north and you go right around. Now if you want to go the other way, you go the east, this way. See? Light reflecting on a flat surface. Look, it goes right on that flat table. It's a line. Reality is, it's a line. If you take a curved piece of glossy paper up to a light bulb, you'll see that a curve gets a spot. You don't get the line with curvature. So what's going on? What's going on? Why do they teach us when we're 4 and 5 years old that we live on a spinning ball? Why they have this in the kindergarten and nursery schools? Because they want to indoctrinate us into believing this. Because a flat surface means that it has a creator of some sort involved. I don't know if it's an ancient civilization, a person, whatever you want to decide that is. But this is not a creation. This is a Big Bang accident. And the flat plane with a dome, which we have evidence of because of lightning sprites. You can see that comes off the dome. And they don't want us to think and to know what our realm really looks like. You can take that with you. There's 10 things on there that will help you to see. How you doing?
Flat.
You're smiling, but you never heard anything about the evidence, did you?
The earth is flat?
Yeah, it's a funny subject until you look into it, and then it scares the crap out of you.
Oh, man.
The world's scary enough. I don't need anything else to scare me.
Yeah.
Really? How about the government lying and sending us off to Middle East for a lie?
Well, that's been since the beginning of time.
Yeah? How about free-flowing electricity that we should have, and the government takes it and charges us for it? How about 5G technology, which is going to fry our brain?
We all got to die, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. NASA gets $52 million a day, and that's okay for putting out garbage like that.
NASA puts out garbage like what? That the earth is round?
Look, that's the United States. Which one's right?
I don't understand what you mean.
This is what they have on their website.
Right.
This is an official Earth image. Same thing. 2012, 2013. This is the United States. This is the United States.
Well, I would have to say the one on the right is what I was raised with.
Yeah? Well, they're telling you they're official images. Yeah, they're images, all right. Computer-generated images. If it's a ball, there should be curvature. But how come we can see Chicago across 60 miles of Lake Michigan? We can see way too far. There is no curvature. This is a lie. And if we all wake up and realize that this is a lie. What difference does it make? Okay, does truth matter? You married?
No.
Okay. Truth doesn't matter to you?
Well, no. Well, regardless whether it's... that's not the point. What does it matter whether the earth is round or flat, then?
Because if they will lie about this, they'll lie about anything.
Well, everybody does. It's,
okay.
Our whole lives.
Let's talk about mandatory vaccinations.
Mm-hmm.
You think they're lying about vaccinations?
No.
Okay. If they would lie about the earth, why wouldn't they lie about vaccinations?
Some things you need to lie about, some things you don't.
Really?
Sure.
Did you ever study vaccinations?
Not in depth.
See,
No.
you're happy because...
I'm not happy.
Because you're ignorant. You don't know a lot of
I know
stuff.
that you're not ignorant.
Because I studied this.
Well,
So I know this
But
subject.
What difference does it make whether the Earth is flat or not? Forget everything else. What does it matter?
Do you pay taxes?
Sure.
Okay, everybody pays taxes, right? Mm-hmm. NASA gets $52 million a day to put out that stuff.
That still doesn't validate your point. What does it matter? It's a simple question. What does it matter whether the Earth is flat or not? I understand if this is your premise of using this as a factual thing that, I mean, that's a pretty bold statement to not have a premise for that it just supports that the government lies to us.
Well, I'm not here to convince you of anything.
No, I'm just trying to understand what the point is, other than, is it just that...
Well, truth matters to me.
Well, I understand that, but is it just the point that we're being lied to about 5 million different things and that's just one of them?
Okay, is there anything that really matters to you?
The Earth.
The Earth?
Like, you know, global warming, that stuff.
Oh, so you believe in global warming?
If humanity was wiped from the face of the Earth and an alien race came over and respected...
So you believe in aliens now?
No.
Oh.
I'm just making a point that if there were aliens and they wiped the humanity off the face of the Earth and didn't ruin the planet, I'd be more than happy. I'd be the first one to raise my hand. Good. Take us away. You can have it.
Okay. What if I told you it wasn't aliens, but it's our own government doing that?
Doing what?
Doing exactly what you're talking about, wiping off the face of the Earth. Have you studied the California fires?
Yeah.
Okay, what if you were in Paradise, California, and you were zapped